Okay, so let's start with a Japanese man who went to Cairo. Okay, so one day a Japanese man went to Cairo to see what it was all about. So he got off at the airport and to find a taxi to go to Heliopolis. So he finally got into a taxi, and on the way he finds a Honda passing by the taxi. So he says, "Ooh, Honda, made in Japan, very, very fast." So he continues on and he finds a Toyota. And so he points at the Toyota and says, "Oh, Toyota, made in Japan, very, very fast." So finally, he comes to, did I say Nissan or Toyota? No, Nissan, okay, so. Okay, so then he passes a Honda finally and says, "Oh, Honda, made in Japan, very, very fast." Okay, so the taxi driver in his Fiat is looking at this man feeling quite annoyed, since they got all the very fast cars. So finally they get off and he asks for $250. So the man says, "Why so much?" So the man replies, "Zamita, made in Egypt, very, very fast." Oh, I forgot to say, your Saturday night comedy entertainment starts right here. Okay, now let's listen to the barber story in Egypt. Okay, so once there was a florist. It's not a guy who does floors, it's a guy who sells flowers. So he went to a barber to get his hair cut, and so he finishes his haircut, and he goes to the man to give him the money, and the man's like, "No, it's fine, Feli, you know, it's on me." So he goes off, and then the next morning, the barber comes in to work, and he finds a bouquet of flowers with a thank you letter. So the man's very happy. So later on that day, a baker comes to the man and gets a very nice haircut. He goes to the barber, but again the barber says, "No, Feli, it's your money, you know, it's fine, it's on me." So the next day he found a nice bag of Basbousa waiting with a thank you card. So shortly after, a Saidi farmer goes to the barber to get a haircut. After his haircut, he goes to the man to give him the money, and obviously the man said, No, you keep your money. So in the morning, he found a thank you letter, and there was a crowd of Saidis waiting for a haircut. Okay, now something which links into the Bible and with the event of today. It's not to be taken offensively, but I don't think any of you will take it offensively, hopefully. Okay, so, haven't said it yet. Okay, so, a German, and an Egyptian, and an Englishman all go to an art gallery to see a picture of Adam and Eve. As they're watching, an observer comes and says, "Where do you think Adam and Eve are from?" So the German, obviously being the German and fast cars, being the first to reply, said, "Well, I think he was German because of his athletic body." So the Englishman stops him and says, "Well, actually, if you look at his posture, he looks quite English." So the Egyptian man, who still hasn't replied, says, "I do not agree with any of you." And they say, "Well, why?" He says, "Well, this man has no shoes, no clothes, they're sharing an apple, and they think they're in paradise. Of course they're in Egypt." Okay, now I have a question for all of you guys, okay? And girls, ladies and gentlemen, whatever, yeah. So, have you ever shipped cheese and pastoma on board your flight? Did everyone say yes?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever been told by your parents that they got 110% in their tests? So, have you ever been lost at an airport but found your way back because you found the biggest bags? You Egyptian! Now, I've just got to say, in the first part, we saw some great acts and great judging from all three judges. I meant it for. Now, another talent which all Egyptians have is finding the best deals, correct? And eating. And not the greatest at timing, but oh well, timing. If so, you're an Egyptian. Goodbye.